From mechanical scripts to cognitive agency, the autonomous shift has finally arrived.
Today we have a special report for you on an AI revolution that's unfolding as we speak. Now, this isn't just about what's happening on your screen. This is about AI that can actually take action in the real world, inside our factories, running our businesses, and yes, even in our daily lives.
And let me be clear, the stakes here could not be higher. We're not talking about the next fun chatbot or cool image generator. This technology represents a fundamental, societal shift in how we interact with machines, and, more importantly, how they are starting to interact with the physical world around us. So here's the core idea, the big change. We are moving from an AI that just assists us to an AI that actually acts on its own. It doesn't just sit there waiting for your next command. You give it a goal, and it independently goes out and pursues it.
This whole revolution is really advancing on two major fronts at the same time. You've got the digital world, where intelligent software agents are already running incredibly complex workflows, and then you have the physical world, where humanoid robots are basically starting to give those same agents a body to walk around in.
So, what's the real difference here? Well, think about generative AI, the tech behind things like ChatGPT. It's a brilliant but ultimately reactive assistant. You give it a prompt, and it generates some content for you. Agentic AI, on the other hand, is proactive. You give it a goal, and it figures out all the steps needed to get there, all by itself.
The workflows really tell the whole story. Generative AI is pretty simple. You prompt, it generates. End of story. But Agentic AI, it's in a constant loop. It monitors the situation. It plans its next move. It acts, it observes the result, and then it adjusts its plan. It's this self-correcting cycle that lets it handle really complex, unpredictable tasks from start to finish without you having to hold its hand.
Now, this didn't just appear out of thin air. This moment we're in is actually the culmination of decades of progress in automation. We've been on a long journey from simple digital mimics to what we have now, truly intelligent collaborators.
You can see a really clear evolutionary path. It all started with what we called RPA bots, which were basically just digital workers mimicking human clicks on a screen. Then, around 2019, we got intelligent automation, which could adapt a little using machine learning. And that brings us to today, where we've arrived at AI agents, systems that can genuinely reason and collaborate with us.
Here's a really simple way to think about it. An early RPA bot? That was like a high-speed assembly line worker, just repeating the same task over and over. Intelligent automation was more like a technician who could handle some variations. But today's AI agents, they're like true collaborators, able to understand the bigger picture and work towards a shared goal. Okay, so the big question is, why is this explosion happening right now? Well, it's basically a perfect storm. The technology is finally mature enough, the costs are plummeting, and maybe most importantly, the market is absolutely desperate for a solution. Let's start with market demand, because this number is pretty wild. An incredible 98% of manufacturers are already looking into or considering AI-driven automation. The desire for this tech is, for all practical purposes, universal. But that ambition is about to run into a big problem. And here's that problem. It's the reality check. Despite that overwhelming interest, only 20%, just 1/5 of those same companies feel like they're actually prepared to use this technology at any kind of scale. And that reveals this huge gap between what they want to do and what they can do. So what's holding them back? Well, reports show it really boils down to three main roadblocks: a big lack of in-house technical expertise, the nightmare of trying to integrate new tech with old systems, and of course, the high perceived costs. These are the major walls to widespread adoption. But the pressure to climb over those walls is immense, and it's being driven by a massive market force, a severe labor shortage. Just in the U.S. manufacturing sector alone, the worker shortage is on track to blow past 2 million people by 2030. There simply aren't enough humans available for these critical jobs.
And this isn't just a U.S. issue. Not at all. It's connected to a much larger global demographic trend. You've got falling birth rates and aging populations in all the major economies, the US, Japan, Italy, China, and this is creating an urgent worldwide need for automated labor.
So, when you have that kind of massive demand crashing into this powerful new technology, what do? You get an economic shockwave, a force that is set to completely redefine jobs, the economy, and the very nature of human work itself.
This next idea is absolutely crucial for understanding where work is headed. We're shifting from being in the loop,
doing the task with some help from AI, to being on the loop. Our new role is becoming more like a supervisor, where we monitor and guide these autonomous agents that are doing the actual work.
Now, economists see two powerful competing forces at play here. First, you've got the displacement effect, which is where AI and robots take over human tasks. But that's being countered by what they call the productivity effect. See, when automation lowers costs, it frees up a ton of capital, which then creates new kinds of jobs and boosts demand for labor in other areas.
And look, this isn't all about cold, impersonal factory work. This technology can be deeply humanized. Just look at its potential in a critical area like elder care. It could directly address those labor shortages that are being created by the demographic shifts we just talked about. And I want to be clear, this isn't some far-off concept from a sci-fi movie. Meet the G1 from Unitree. It's a commercially available humanoid robot that you can buy right now. But here's the truly disruptive part. Its starting price is just $16,000. At that price point, this kind of future becomes accessible to almost everyone.
Okay, so with all these pieces falling into place, the tech, the cost, the need, let's look ahead. Where is all this heading, and what are the profound questions it's starting to raise for all of us?
In places like factories, the rollout isn't going to be a light switch. It's going to happen in phases. First comes coexistence, where robots and humans just share the same workspace. Then we'll see cooperation, where robots actively help humans. And the long-term vision? That culminates in independent operation, where humans can actually withdraw from the production line, making the unmanned factory a reality.
But the next frontier is where it gets really wild. We're moving beyond single, solo agents to entire teams of AIs. We're seeing the rise of these multi-agent systems, basically digital workforces where specialized AIs collaborate. For example, there are projects like MetaGPT that can simulate an entire software company, with different AIs playing the roles of CEO, coder, and designer, all working together to build a product.
And think about what this means for how we use technology. It could fundamentally change everything. Forget clicking through apps and menus. The user interface of the future might just be an agent that you talk to. You'd give it a high-level command, like, hey, book my trip to Lisbon, and it would just go and handle all the complicated details for you.
And all of this leaves us with the most important question of all. As this incredible technology matures, the real challenge is shifting away from engineering and towards supervision. Our new role isn't just about building the system, it's about guiding its actions. The central question for us is no longer how do we program this process, but rather, how do we direct an autonomous intelligence?
Local silicon is now cheaper than overseas labor. The era of agency begins.